Hi, and welcome to Pet Pals. Every week we take a look at animals that are looking for homes at the Frederick County Division of Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. I'm Linda Shea. With me is Randy Cooper. And this is Sybil, who's with us, and she may be a familiar face. She has been at the shelter since May 30th, which is a relatively long time. But she still has a great sense of humor. She's got a great personality, great temperament. Sybil was brought to us by her owners back on May 30th when they were moving. And the first thing that I noticed about Sybil is her wonderful ears. And she's just got a great facial expression, but she's got a great enthusiasm for life. She's about 3.5 years old, and she may be familiar to some of the viewers and some of the visitors to the shelter because her length of stay at the shelter. By no means do we have a time limit on how long animals can stay. And the reason we are showcasing Sybil again is just to make that point. She is doing well here, she is happy, she is playful, she's still interested in playing with toys and great with visitors, but we just want to showcase her to kind of put the word out there that she really is deserving of a home. Having been here for almost 3 months now, it's not an ideal place for animals, especially for active dogs. So if you are looking for this type of dog, if you're looking for a pit bull mix, again, she's only 3.5 years old. She is already spayed. She's microchipped. Her adoption fee is $92.50, and that covers all that. And she's about 67 pounds in good health, certainly with great personality. So we are looking, and if you're watching Pet Pals, and if you've seen Sybil here live and in person, even if you can't adopt her, if you know of anybody that's looking to adopt a great dog, I would just send them in. You can have them call the shelter for more information. But again, our purpose here is just to showcase her a little more heavily, just to make it known that she's still here and she's still looking for a home. This beautiful girl is Shaman. She's been with us since June the 9th, and she is your basic domestic long hair. She's got that gorgeous tortoiseshell coat coloring, which is the black and the orange that's blended, and she's primarily orange, but has a great temperament, great personality, and she's another example of an animal that's been here for a rather lengthy time. Shaman is about 8 to 9 years old, and she was turned in by her owner. The owner claimed that there were toddlers in the family, and Shaman was not happy with them. One of our ongoing themes is when folks turn in animals, or proactively, if you're going to acquire an animal and you have young children in your family, you do want to take into consideration that the animal may be scared. Children, most kids around animals have an enthusiasm that maybe the animal is not comfortable with. So that is entirely up to the parent to perform parenting duties and just supervise to make sure that the animal is respected, that the children don't get injured, and that the kids grow up learning appropriate behavior around animals. Just like you would train your animal to have good behavior, you want your kids to have good behavior as well when interacting, so everybody stays safe. But Shaman is here because of that. She's been here a while. As with any animal that comes to our shelter, she did not have a veterinarian history. So when she got here, she did develop an upper respiratory infection. This time of year, typically from April through September, we reference it as kitten season, meaning that our back door buzzer rings almost nonstop, and oftentimes we're taking, an average of 14 animals in every day. And during kitten season, a lot of those are cats and kittens. So when a cat arrives here during those months, if they don't have vaccines on board, they are very likely to acquire an upper respiratory infection. With Shaman, we have treated her. You can see she has recovered from that, and now she is available for adoption. Because she's a senior, there is a $20 discount on her adoption price.
Come here.
This little kitty, well, not so little kitty, he's almost 9 pounds. This is Pouncy, and Pouncy is your basic domestic short hair, brown tabby color and pattern, and he's about 18 months old. And when I hear a name like Pouncy, I suspect that there was a young child in the family that helped in naming this cat. Again, he's just about 9 pounds, came to the shelter early part of July. He has tested negative for leukemia and FIV. Those are 2 viruses that cats can transmit from cat to cat. and every cat that is made available for adoption, we make sure that we test for those viruses prior to making them available. Those are things that you want to be aware of before you introduce a new cat into your family. Pouncey, typical of other felines this season, during kitten season, arrived here without any vaccines on board. So he did develop an upper respiratory infection. He has recovered nicely. You can look at him and he is discharge free. His eyes are clear. He's eating well and certainly maintaining a beautiful coat. Pouncey was turned in. The folks that had him only had him for a couple of days. And shortly after they acquired him, they decided that they were allergic to him, so he ended up here. One of the things that we offer, just as an educational perspective on cats, you want to make sure that really with any animal that you're washing your hands consistently before and after handling the cat, before and after meals, if you've got an animal in your possession. You also want to be aware that you don't necessarily need to allow your pet into your bedroom. Sometimes bedrooms just need to be off limits. That should be sleeping area that is fur-free as much as you can get it to be fur-free, especially if you have pets. So those are just some suggestions that if you think you're developing allergies or have allergies to your existing pets, you may want to consult certainly with your doctor, but then try to employ some common sense things. But this is Pouncey. Again, he's very young. He's a juvenile, about 18 months old, looking for a second chance. So while Shaman and Pouncey were on the larger end of the scale with cats, Onyx is only about 6 pounds, so she's very, very petite. She's about the same age as Pouncey. She's about 1 to 2 years old and came to us as a stray. She's from Kemar, so again, while folks know that the shelter is within Frederick city limits, our officers go out to all parts of the county to get animals that are running at large. We also have citizens in all parts of the county that bring animals here. So even if you might live as far away as Kemar, if you're missing an animal, you want to make sure that you come to the shelter at least to kind of check and see if your pet's here, because we are the only shelter in Frederick County. You can tell probably by looking at her that Onyx was recently spayed. Part of the adoption process for animals is that we spay them, neuter them prior to leaving here. They are also microchipped for permanent identification. We provide any vaccines and preventatives as far as deworming with cats. We test for leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus. And a lot of times during kitten season, if we see cats or adults, felines that are very adoptable, we go ahead and proactively spay or neuter them because that will facilitate their adoption when it gets to that point, and that's what we did with Onyx. She is very sweet, she is very affectionate, she is just got a great personality, great temperament. You can tell she's very calm. She's kind of giving soft eyes, just that indicating that she's very comfortable at the moment and would make maybe a great lap cat. As young as she is kind of curious. We color code our cats, dogs, and other animals here. So she is color-coded orange, meaning that she's not really an entirely devoted to being a lap cat, but nor is she busy as a kitten might be. So in fact, she's almost fallen asleep. So if you're looking for sort of a mild-mannered, beautiful, sleek-coated domestic short-hair, Onyx would be a great choice.
Making biscuits in my hands.
Sweet. So the last cat we're going to take a look at before we head to break is Allie. She's about 5 years old, and being 5, she does qualify for an adoption fee discount of $20. And again, it's not because she's worth less. Our animals are all valuable to us, and just to they're just inherently valuable. But we do offer an incentive because so often people gravitate towards kittens and towards puppies, and we understand that. That is perfectly fine. If you want a kitten in your life, that's what you should wait for. But some of our older cats get overlooked. So again, Allie is 5. She would qualify for a $20 discount off her adoption fee. She is almost 14 pounds, could probably use some weight loss, and you do that with cats gradually over a long length of time with your vet's oversight. And typically you just want to start by measuring food. Because if you know what she's eating, the quantity of food she's eating, that makes it so much easier for your veterinarian to offer up a solution as far as either reducing her food or reducing the type of food that she's eating. So Allie was brought to us. I guess the owner was allergic. Again, you want to make sure that you use good hand washing protocols. So many times dander on animals' fur, something they might have got into, can create an allergic reaction. And the other thing with Allie, we see this pretty often with animals, dogs and cats. She had bitten the owner's husband at some point, but he had reached under the bed. So sometimes when animals are cornered, their natural reaction is to react negatively, either by defending themselves with their teeth, with their claws. While that is inappropriate, it is certainly understandable that that's just a knee-jerk reaction. So we don't discriminate. I mean, Allie is here. She is certainly adoptable. We know her history. We disclose everything that we know about animals so that you as a potential adopter can make a good informed decision. So again, this is Allie. She is looking for a new home, and she's a great cat. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we've got some more animals that are looking for forever homes.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Did you know that all of Frederick County's mixed recyclables go to a materials recovery facility to be sorted? For this to happen, your recyclables need to be placed into a cart or bin loose, not in bags. Trash bags are not recyclable, and materials in bags are difficult to open at the sorting center and are not accepted. The only exception to this rule are recyclable plastic bags, like grocery store bags, which do need to be gathered together inside one bag so that they don't get caught in the sorting facility's machinery. Also, shredded paper should be placed inside a paper bag or cardboard box so that it can be collected and sorted properly. Thank you for helping to make recycling work better for our community. And remember, please don't bag your mixed recyclables. More information on our recycling program can be found online, in our mobile app, or by calling our office. Recycle more, waste less.
Did you know that one of the leading causes of death in America is motor vehicle accidents? Hello, I'm Sergeant Jody Maybush of the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. According to the Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration, each year traffic crashes kill more people in Maryland than homicides, and over 90% of total crashes are preventable incidents caused by driver error. Motorists can help law enforcement in preventing these tragedies by making the right choices on the road. Remember, speed kills, so slow down. For every mile per hour that you drive, the likelihood of you being involved in a crash significantly increases. Avoid distractions such as talking, texting, or emailing while you drive, and always wear your safety belt. The most important thing is that you arrive to your destination safely. So please, drive smart and help us in keeping Maryland roadways safe.
Transit services of Frederick County. With rising gas prices, transit is a less expensive way to work or school. Most commuter bus routes run every 30 minutes during weekday morning and afternoon rush hours. Bus stops are within a quarter mile of most businesses in downtown Frederick. Transit offers shuttles to Thurmont, Emmitsburg, Brunswick, Jefferson, Spring Ridge, and Route 85, or take a shuttle to the MARC train for an easy commute. Find out what nearly 1 million passengers already know. Transit connects people and places.
Welcome back to Pet Pals. In case you didn't notice, we have very few dogs available for adoption. That's sort of a good thing. On the other hand, it is mid-kitten season, so we've got lots of felines that are looking for forever homes. One of them is Rusty, who we have here. He is a very handsome cream tabby with white. Rusty's about 7 years old. He originally was given as a gift from a friend, and his family's had him for the last 7 years or so, and then they lost their home, so they were unable to keep Rusty. Rusty also has a friend with him, Kitty, and both are available for adoption. Rusty came to us already neutered, but with no current veterinary history, so we went ahead and provided him, brought him up to speed on vaccines, on deworming, on preventatives. He is almost 12 pounds, so he's on the larger side of the cat spectrum. Most cats on average weigh somewhere between 8 and 9 pounds. However, depending on their frame, you can have a 12-pound cat that's certainly healthy. You might have, a smaller cat that's perfectly healthy, such as we saw Onyx before, who's only just about 6 pounds. So it really depends on their frame and their build. But on average, cats are about 8 or 9 pounds. Rusty is color-coded blue. So when you come to the shelter, if you're looking for a pet feline, if you look for the cats that have a blue card on their cage, they're the ones most likely to serve as lap cats. And we see that with Rusty. He's perfectly content, just sitting, just hanging out, just kind of, he's looking around the room, kind of curious and interested, but still makes a wonderful companion for your lap. So he is available for adoption because he's older. He qualifies for a $20 discount. And one thing that we do, we have a part-time contracted vet at the shelter that's here only 12 hours a week. So we have other vets that volunteer their time, and we are much appreciative of those veterinarians that come in. They volunteer their time through the week. And the vet that looked at Rusty wrote down on Rusty's assessment, okay for adoption, sweet cat. So his personality and temperament is validated by our visiting veterinarian. So again, this is Rusty looking for a forever home.
Not going nowhere. Just pose and be pretty.
So we keep talking about kitten season. We figured we would put a kitten on Pet Pals this week. This is Anastasia. Anastasia came to us back in mid-June as just a 6-week-old kitten. So now she's about 14 weeks old, and she is available for adoption. When kittens come in and they are underage, and underage means less than 3 pounds, less than 8 weeks, we go ahead and put them, when we can, into foster care. So if you've ever considered, gee, can I borrow a kitten for a while or a set of kittens for a while? If you've considered foster care, that's one option. What that means is that you provide care for an animal on a temporary basis. You work to make them adoptable. You work to socialize young kittens. You want to make sure that they stay healthy, that you're monitoring their eating and eliminating habits, that you bring them in for routine checkups to make sure that we keep their vaccines and preventatives current. And then once they reach 10 weeks or 3 pounds of age, then they come back to the shelter and they are adopted. So Anastasia is a product of foster care. You can see when you meet this little girl just the attention that she's been paid. She's been well socialized, well loved. She was in a home with adult cats and dogs, so she's used to kind of the noise and the levels that they provide. She was also around young children. So you want to make sure that when you come into the shelter, you look at the animal's profile, and a lot of times our foster care providers will write down exactly what exposure and experience the animals have had, and certainly make themselves available to talk with potential adopters. But Anastasia is your typical little kitten. She is interested and has an enthusiasm for life. She loves playing with her toys, and certainly after a long day of playing, she sleeps well. So this little girl is available for adoption. Our adoption fee for her is $97.50. That covers getting her spayed, microchipped, all the routine preventatives we've done, and finding her a new home. So if you're interested in Anastasia, I recommend you come in to visit. This very handsome bunny is named Indigo. He came to us just a couple of weeks ago in mid-July, and he is with us because his family had some issues with divorce, and they were unable to keep him, unable to rehome him, so he is here now. Indigo is approximately 3 years old. He is a boy, and he's a mini Rex, and he's got that gorgeous velvety coat. If you've ever read The Velveteen Rabbit, when I see and interact with bunnies like this, that's what I think of. Just the texture of his coat is very plush and very, very soft. But he's here now. A lot of times folks get bunnies and they don't realize the work that goes into them. Fortunately, we are very lucky. We've got very literate volunteers that are willing to help us place bunnies appropriately, ensure that we provide the correct enrichment for them while they're here. Bunnies sometimes do end up staying with us for quite a while. They are a different pet. I think people come into the shelter thinking of adopting a dog or a cat, not realizing that we are open admission, meaning that we take in any animal from within Frederick County that needs us. And the reason why we take animals only from Frederick County is that we are 100% county tax funded. We're a government entity, so folks that live in Frederick pay for us to exist, and that's why we take animals just from within Frederick County. So Indigo is here now. He's already had a vet check. The vet has said that he is healthy and okay for adoption. We do preventatives on bunnies. Bunnies don't need vaccines or shots like other animals do, but they can develop skin issues. They need their nails trimmed. They need their teeth monitored, and we do preventatives for any type of mites that might be hovering around. But Indigo's in good shape, again, 3 years old, and he is looking for a forever home. This little girl is Ethel. Ethel came to us a couple of weeks ago, also around mid-July, and she was turned in by an owner that had, first of all, too many animals, but also the owner was afraid that Ethel would be injured by the cats in the house. So again, it goes back to a lot of pet ownership involves supervision. If you've got children that are going to interact with your pets, you need to supervise everybody. If you've got pets interacting with pets, you need to supervise that. And if you have prey animals like rats, you want to make sure that you house them where they're protected. You want to make sure that their housing unit itself is secure. You want to make sure that whatever room they are in is off limits to the larger animals in the family, especially cats that just, in a sense of play, might get too rough and something bad might happen to your small rodent. But Ethel is here now. She's about 6 months old, and her owner acquired her about 3 months ago from a pet store. And the challenge we have with pets that come from pet stores, oftentimes pet stores sell animals easily. It's very easy if you have money to walk in and gain a pet. There's no screening involved. There's no education involved. It really is a challenge for us because when animals don't work out, pet stores typically will not take their animals back. So animals that are purchased at pet stores from one population end up impacting our population here at the shelter. And Ethel is just one case of that. Indigo, the bunny we looked at, was another situation where that happened. So you just really want to reconsider if you're going to acquire a pet. You want to get it from a shelter, from a rescue, or just commit to it for life. So this is Ethel. Again, she's a rat. She is very friendly, very active, about 6 months old, looking for an adoptive family. The last little guy we're going to take a look at is our chinchilla. We actually have two in the shelter. This one came in with the name Dumbo, and he is just about 2 to 3 years old, and another example of an animal that was purchased at a pet store. So that is at least 3 out of the 10 pets that we have looked at today have come from a pet store, and the 3 that we have designated as such were exotics. So we have our rat, we have our bunny, and here we have our chinchilla that was purchased from a pet store. So obviously you see what happened in those situations. Again, pet stores don't screen, they don't take time to educate folks, and they make exotic animals available very easily for folks to purchase. But when things don't work out, those types of animals end up at your local animal shelter. So we really encourage you to become educated prior to acquiring a pet. We can help with the education portion. We can also direct you. Sometimes folks will come in and they're looking for exotics or rodents, and we don't have any here, which is a good thing, but we work with rescues all the time. Small Angels Rescue is one that we work with on an ongoing basis. Unfortunately, they pull a lot of our rodents, a lot of our guinea pigs, a lot of our rats, mice, etc. So if you're looking for that type of animal and we don't have any in the shelter, we're more than happy to give you that information. That really is the better way to go. Rescues and shelters are overloaded oftentimes with animals that start out just being sold indiscriminately. But Dumbo is here now, and chinchillas can live up to 15 years. They've got sort of a lifespan that's comparable to a cat. They're very, very soft. You need to maintain their habitat temperature. You want to make sure that it remains on the cooler side so that they don't overheat, and you want to make sure that you are literate with the kind of diet that they need. But this little guy is available for adoption. If you're interested, you certainly want to just contact us to get more information. So that wraps it up for this week's Pet Pals. We are glad that you could join us. If you've seen any animals here that you're interested in adopting, you want to visit the shelter. Thanks for joining us on Pet Pals. Thank you, as always, to Video Services, who does a great job in filming the show. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week on Pet Pals.